Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and I'm going to be showing you guys a run in the raid here. Now, there are a lot of Tarkin Scorch videos, but there are not any Tarkin Scorch with the update now. So for those of you who are like me, where you have Grand Moff Tarkin, you've built him up, but your Scorch, mine is only Relic 4 at 6 stars. I obviously can't go and try the Relic 9 tier, but I have been very successful at the Relic 1 tier, and we finally now, I have a strategy of how to use these two on the Relic 3 tier to get 900,000 points. For a lot of guilds, this will be a massive increase to your rewards. Just for perspective for my guild, if everybody in my guild is able to use Grand Moff Tarkin and Scorch together to combine and get a max 900,000 points, where before we were only getting 300,000 in this raid, that is 600,000 extra points, which translates to roughly 30 million extra score. So for us, we just barely got over the 375. That now puts us into the 400 millions. For many guilds, an extra 30 million points could take you to a whole new crate. So it is a big deal. So folks, we're going to get into the strategy. We'll talk about the modding. I'll show you guys the Relic 1 tier. We'll show you the Relic 3 tier, and we'll get into all the little things you need to know to be successful in this raid with this new change that I will say is very player friendly. So with that, let's give a huge shout out to our channel members, as always, for their continued support. And of course, it doesn't want to pop up. Why would we ever pop these up? That's just ridiculous, right? Thank you guys again for everything you do to keep this channel going. If you're ever interested, again, that link is below, along with a link to our Discord server. Go check it out. Really just appreciate it, guys. You know, I am so humbled, honored, and blessed to be able to do this. You know, play a game that I love, create the content, and, you know, help teach, help share some of the knowledge that I have. I know, you know, a lot of hot takes, of course, a lot of bad takes, as Eggnards would say. Shout out Egg. But, you know, I really appreciate it, guys. It means the world to me. So let's get in here. Let's talk about this Order 66 raid. Alright folks, so the first one I want to show is on this Relic 1 difficulty, right? The Relic 1 difficulty, for some players, this one is very straightforward, and it will show you a successful attempt. There's not a lot of RNG at this tier, so I'm going to go unchanged with my current mods. I've got Tarkin 272, 139% potency, and 11,000 special offense. My Scorch, he's got the full, we went crazy on him. He's got a lot of health, a lot of protection, a lot of speed, and the big thing is the armor. This is the set that he will be using with Lord Vader, so I'm just, you know, we're not going there. And again, Relic 9 Tarkin, Relic 4 Scorch. If your Tarkin is lower Relic levels, I would go to the Relic 1 tier. The Relic 3 tier, as I will show, I think you are going to want that Relic 9 or Relic 7 ridiculous mods. I don't know how well it will or won't work, but you guys will kind of see the strategy that we're going to employ here. So those are the mods for the Relic 1 tier. So let's get in here. And the strategy, again, the strategy between these two attempts will be very similar. So the first thing you're going to do is, now, my Scorch is faster, but just taunt with him. We don't want to attack anybody. Then, basic Oppo, calling Scorch to assist. That is super important. And then we're just going to let them hit Scorch. You don't want him to get stunned. If he gets stunned at the start, back out. He needs to survive. So now we're just going to basic, I don't know, we'll just basic you. Doesn't really matter. Now this is important. This is the next really important piece. You have to use intimidation tactics with Tarkin, targeting Fox. The reason you want to do that with Tarkin's leadership Zeta, I've now put expose and defense down on Fox. So when I use this AoE, it will delete him. Now notice, we've only got 2 stacks left until Lord Vader hits his enraged. And these guys are going to take turns. Don't call in the flag. They're just going to, you know, they're going to get there before we can. What you want to do is throw out the grenades, the breaching charges. It's going to deal damage to all enemies and inflict 2 stacks of damage over time for 2 turns. The reason you want to throw this out, so I ended up killing them, but if they were to take a turn and you land those damage over times, they'll die from the dots. So now we can go ahead, call in all of our stuff, and we're through. At this point, you are homeward bound. You are fine. You get through that, again, you get through that first wave. It's almost, I shouldn't say it's impossible, but it's a lot harder to lose once you get through the first wave. So again, just calling. We're just going to use Tarkin's AoE every chance we get and delete everybody. So again, we're just going to basic this dude. And there they go. Pretty straightforward here, guys, in the Relic 1 tier. Nothing crazy that you need to do. Nothing crazy. As my dog is, like, about to break down my glass door back here. 1 sec. Get inside, Bubba. Interrupting the Star Wars content, man. Come on. It's a good thing you're cute. So, yeah, we're just going to keep going here. Wait for Tarkin to get his AoE. Again, it doesn't... As long as you don't get stunned, you're fine. If you get stunned, you might have to restart. But pretty simple. There you go. This is a max 600,000 points. So even for somebody like myself, where before my random leftover team was only getting 300,000 points, I've now just doubled that score, added an extra 300k. But we didn't come here for 600,000. We came here for 900,000. So let's move up to that Relic 3 tier. Now, this is where you have to start changing some mods. So the first, what we're going to do with Tarkin is I've got my loadouts over here. So we've got Tarkin's loadout here. The one change I need... Oh, I didn't save the one I had, but I know which mods I did have here. This needs to go there. And we need Leia's down here. This is what we have for Tarkin. Yes. Let me make sure that I save this. So, glad you guys got to see this real quick. All right, so Tarkin's mod loadout here. We've gone with an offense set and a potency set. You need a fair bit of speed. I have mine at 296 speed. Got, health protection. I don't know that it truthfully matters there, but we do have 87% potency. But most importantly, 13,905 special offense. That is really important. You need that offense. If you can get extra potency on your mods, that's great. I would try to prioritize the offense percent where possible. And obviously having speed helps. With Scorch, the one thing with Scorch on this tier is you need the tenacity. You need as much tenacity as possible because you need to avoid the stuns. If you watch the Relic 9 tier, you'll know that he can't be stunned, and we need Scorch to survive. So if he gets stunned, we've got to completely back out. So I just load him up with tenacity, drops his survivability like crazy. I do have a crit avoidance arrow. However, you will see that that crit avoidance arrow basically does nothing. He will just completely get devastated. So now we'll go into the Relic 3 tier. And if he gets stunned at the start, right, we'll show that, all those things. So again, the same strategy will apply. You're going to basic Oppo. And again, we're just doing that because we want to save the other one for Fox. Then Entrenched. You need to use Entrenched there. We don't want to be taking any counters. Our tenacity, we avoided the stun. We're good. They're going to throw out all their stuff. So now switch targets. You've got to be targeting Fox. And go ahead and use Intimidation Tactics. We've got our Expose. Call in the AoE. Now we've got everybody dead. Now look. It looks like we have a chance to use these things. You just want to throw the grenades. Throw the breaching charges. So here, we've got damage over time here, but we don't have it on Oppo, which is very, very scary. So at this point here, what I'm going to attempt to do is just try to delay a bit, but I think we're going to end up having to back out here. So I'm going to call this in, and there they go. All those clones came back. This is a forfeit. You've got to be able to get damage over times landed on Oppo, or else you have to restart. Oppo and the other trooper have to die at the start of their turn, or else you have to restart. So basic here. And then just what I do is I immediately switch to Fox so that way I don't accidentally keep targeting Oppo. So we got stunned, just back out. It's an instant retreat for this tactic. You've got to avoid that stun at all costs, even with 187% tenacity, 185%. And if you notice, every single hit that they have on me is a crit, even though I have a crit avoidance arrow. Just nothing you can do. So again, there's another instant back out. Once I get this, we're going to get one run of this and we're going to be done because the strategy is the same, right? It's literally the same every single time. Go here. Okay, targeting Fox. Use that. There we go. Gosh, yeah. I mean, guys, I have literally almost 200% potency, tenacity on Scorch, and it doesn't matter. It just is. This is not a fun experience, but I promise, I find it worthwhile to do this, especially for guilds that are struggling with score. So there, we avoided the stun. So we're through there. Just gonna let them throw all their stuff out. All right, now we're targeting Fox. There's our exposed, defense down. Here comes the AoE. Now, everybody's still alive there, but look at the turn order. We're going to throw out breaching charges. And, of course, we don't land anything that we need to, so we're just going to try to... All right, we killed him. That's good. That's good. Let's go here. Yep, okay, so we're good there. So even though he didn't die, because Oppo died, we are in good shape. Now I can basic, use this, call that in, and we're now homeward bound. We'll try this again, because that's not... Normally, I can get all the damage over times to land, and then you don't have to do anything. They just kind of die of sadness. So, again, here you get into phase 2. Just kind of bide your time, call in your AoEs. And you're going to get... The AoEs are going to be pretty juiced up, because you're going to get the... you're going to get to use it against Lord Vader, so you'll kind of get those stacks. But it really doesn't matter. One stack on this tier is enough to normally get you through. So there we go. Call this in. Get our stuff going. And there we go. Max score. I am going to run this back because I have had it successful where the damage over times land on all the remaining clones and they just die off right away. But as you guys saw, a few, some RNG, some retries, but pretty, I will say, I feel pretty good about this. Like, I kind of looked at all those mechanics. So again, we're going to go in, basic on Oppo, and then immediately just switch targets to Fox. That way you don't accidentally hit anyone else. Avoided the stun. Throw out all their stuff. All right, intimidation tactics, get our expose and defense down. If by some reason Fox is to dodge that, restart. Right? You need that expose and defense down. And now we've killed them. Throw out the breaching charges. So there, we've got damage over times on Oppo. We have a damage over time, not on you. And I have damage over time here. So I'm actually going to just call this in. And I killed that guy. But now, look, Oppo didn't die from dots. So we're going to have to just... I don't think we're going to get another turn there. Oh, we are. All right, hold on. All right, this is good. This is good. Let's pray. Oh. All right. Oh, there we go. Darn it. Not a max score there. I am curious what score I could get here. Maybe I should have called in some stuff. I don't know. We'll see how this pans out. But I will play this one out just because, to show that you can still get some decent score. Of course, those stuns are not fun. Let's get that in. There we go. 480, yeah. Normally we're significantly higher than that, but that's okay. Call this in. Basic. Basic. Call it in. All right, so there. Now we're at, what, we're going to be at a little bit over. This is another run, I would say, that's like semi-successful because it's about, we're at 735,000 damage here. Kind of one of these where you're like, ah, darn it. You can get 900k, but just to show that if this does happen a lot and you're just getting sick, it's all right. But there, I got 765. Lord Vader takes his turns. That is, I would say that happens to me more often than anything else. So even if that's still more than you would score at the Relic 1 tier. So, I'm fine with that. But let's try to get one more max score in here because I will submit that then. Because I've been messing around with this quite a bit to come up with this strategy. The modding, the who you're going to target, the damage over time stuff. I put a lot of effort into this, guys. I hope you realize that. So again, call it in. Oh, that's devastating. we've really got to get some damage over times here, and we don't, so just back out. If you don't kill Fox, it's an instant back out. Let's go again here. I promise maybe I'll timestamp this one because I want this to be a really, useful video or whatever. But, you really, really got to make sure that everything kind of just falls into place. There we go. Getting the stuns. Boom, boom. Tactics. There's our expose. Call it in. AoE here. And of course, we got a dodge. Like, that's just... And there's even RNG into if Tarkin's removing turn meter. That's a whole other aspect with that AoE that we're not covering. You've got to be able to remove turn meter too. It is just... This whole thing is very RNG dependent, but I have gotten the max score enough times here that I feel confident in saying, yes, this does work. Like, this isn't like it's just a super, oh, it's only going to work because Fat Phil's doing it. See, like, right there. Back out. This won't kill him. See that? And he even dodges it yet again. So, I mean, like, you are fighting against so many layers of RNG. I can't believe I got 2 dodges in the same run. We need some investigation into this CG. Dodge Kron's coming back. What are we doing here? So, again, keep our strategy going. Come on now. Oh, we got stunned, so just clear that out. Clear it out. Clear it out. Get back going. Come on now. All right. Call this in. Stun. Lovely. Yeah, I promise if you're watching this, like, I'm putting timestamps in here because I was hoping that we would get some back-to-backs because I got a couple of back-to-back successes before creating this. Like, I hope you guys know, I did a lot of runs on this before I was willing to make this because I wanted to make sure that I could duplicate it. I wanted to make sure that I could get it the way I needed it to. So now here we go. Call in the AoE. All right. Throw the bombs. There we go. This is perfect, right? This is perfect. I'm literally just going to basic Oppo here because I want to make sure those damage over times do kill him. So now we'll call in those Dyes of Sadness, and now we're in good shape here. Tarkin. There we go. This is the run we're going to be saving. All right. Throw this out. Kill everybody. Perfect. Guys, that is a great run right there. Everybody had the damage over times. You can see the thought process behind it. You can see what we're trying to do. Keep going. The damage over time is something that when I, was messing around with all the different things, I quickly realized how important it was that you land those dots. So, folks, that is the strategy. Again, we'll try, wave 1 again here, but your whole thing, you need to first target Oppo. Right? To kind of summarize this, you're going to target Oppo. Then you're going to focus in on Fox with non-attacking abilities. Just getting the bulwark going, avoiding the stun from Oppo, calling in the AoE, throwing out the damage over times, and getting everybody to die in that first wave. Again, the strategy on the Relic 1 tier and the Relic 3 tier is exactly the same. The difference, obviously, is the modding involved. A lot harder to get this Relic 3 tier, but I think it's worth it for the effort. So that's the video, folks. Like, subscribe, comment. I love you all. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, my friends.